Sometimes there are problems with trying to fix your problems. You can hack your behavior, do more and more actions, procure more desirable circumstances, and really perfect a limited version of yourself. One who never grows or progresses or frees herself to create the astounding future you deserve. Or you can start seeing your approach to problems differently. You're listening to the Health Courage Collective podcast, episode 214, The Problem with Trying to Fix Your Problems. Welcome to the Health Courage Collective podcast, the show for women who are too busy to slog through hours of generalized, inapplicable, and often contradictory health information, but too smart to ignore that a few minutes of focused attention now can prevent years of suffering in the future. I'm your host, Christina Hackett, a pharmacist who doesn't want you to live on prescriptions, a certified coach specifically trained to maximize your potential, and a compulsive learner obsessed with preventative, cutting-edge, holistic, and integrative medicine. I'm on a mission to increase your physical and mental resilience so you can fearlessly look forward to your next 40-plus limitless years. Your time is now. Let's go. Hi, my friend, and welcome to today's episode. I hope that you are doing great. Have you thought much about your future prescription for vaginal estrogen this past week? Today, we're going to talk about fixing problems. Do you have any problems? Stupid question, right? I think we're pretty conditioned to feel like we need to fix our problems. It's natural and pretty deeply human nature-y to be problem solvers, which is fabulous. It's why, as a society, we don't have to live in caves and die if we can't scrounge up enough wild tubers or have to keep paper lists of people's phone numbers taped to our refrigerators. Problem solving is a top-notch skill. We know it, and it's one of the main things we focus on teaching our kids, the development of problem-solving skills. I had 3 little boys, wildly adorable little boys, from 2005 to 2015-ish, so I spent a lot of time singing along with "Can we fix it? Yes, we can." Good stuff. So being a fixer, not in the Tony Soprano way, but in a smart and capable, ethical and ambitious woman that you are kind of way, can be a good thing. But it also can have a dark side. Peter Crone is a coach that gets impressive results with big name clients. He told this story about how he was working with an NBA center once. Probably goes without saying that he was a big guy as a center and very skilled to be in the NBA at all. Who knows how many thousands of hours he had spent running drills and mastering his craft. He had access to the best resources money could buy, including coaching from Peter Crone, which was good because he had a problem, a big problem. The league average for free throws was 75%. His average was 37%. He had a multi-million-dollar contract and his job performance was broadcast on national television. He was personally embarrassed, and he really didn't want to keep letting his teammates and team owners down. It was a lot of pressure. What do you think you would do in that situation? Yeah, he was getting moral support from his family and friends. He was working with a special personal coach on his free throw mechanics, working with a sports psychologist, all the things. All the resources and attention spent on fixing this problem. He said he was doing literally everything he could. What Peter told him was that all of those well-intended behavioral adaptations were reinforcements that he had a problem, a big problem. They were helping him to hold on to the past and use it as evidence for what the future will be. If Peter told him he had a crystal ball and could see that in the future, he shoots the league average of 75% for his free throws. He said that the NBA player completely lit up, opened up, visibly relaxed, and said that would be so amazing. He'd finally be free. And Peter told him, that's a future that I made up, which is just as real as the future you're making up. Which is not to say that taking actions like working on your mechanics and rituals and whatnot are not important, because they are. But focusing all your effort and thoughts on fixing a problem reinforces that we have a problem. and we need fixing. When you come at a problem thinking of it as a problem that needs to be surgically removed from your existence, you set in motion a future that includes that problem, maybe even revolves around that problem. But when you approach your future wanting to build something amazing, that's the future you set in motion because that's what you see opportunities for all around you. Let's say your blood pressure is creeping up into worrying range and you don't have the endurance you wish you had. You'd like to be able to hike with your kids on the weekends, but it's too miserable to try to keep up, so you don't go. You get fatigued easily. Afternoons leave you searching your body for hidden zombie bites. How else could your energy be completely extracted from your body? You may or may not know that your bone density is lower than it should be if you don't want to be frail and fragile 25 years from now. You may or may not know that your fatigue has to do with your mitochondria struggling to produce enough energy because your insulin and blood sugar are both higher than optimal. Or that those metabolic issues, higher than optimal insulin and blood sugar levels, drastically increase your risk of stopping living before you die. And your risk for out-and-out death too, because metabolic problems increase your risk of all of the chronic diseases of aging. All of them. You'd probably also have lower than optimal levels of BDNF, or brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is like miracle grow for your brain. When you don't have enough, your brain can't continue to make connections as easily. Since you're super smart, you know the highest leverage action you can take to fix all of these problems, right? One thing that will change your results in all of these areas. Say it with me. Exercise. It's the honest-to-goodness magic pill, other than the fact that it's not a pill. So your problem is that you don't exercise. Your real problem is that you can't get yourself to exercise. Not for lack of trying, but you're just not obedient to yourself. That's a problem. So how might you go about solving it? When we're stuck in problem-fixing mode, we think we just need to do more actions and different actions and better actions and make our problem go away. We learn about different things we can do. We're convinced if we just do different things or acquire more resources, we'll be liberated from our problem. When all we see is our problem, we feed the problem until it feels bigger and bigger and our worldview starts to get distorted. We can get so focused on the problem and all the things the problem is causing to go wrong in our life that we don't even think about what we do want. It's like we're trying to go backward to our life before this problem started, instead of driving our life forward to where we really want to go. We think about what things to do more than we think about who we really are. We think the way to change who we are is by having things outside of us change. We forget that that's not how it works. When all you do is try to redesign your behavior without considering the contribution of your subconscious mind, it's like you've completed a lot of tasks to perfect yourself while inside of a prison, instead of getting out of the prison. While problem solving can be great, focusing on problems all the time uses up your attention, skills, creativity, time, and energy staying stuck, instead of spending your resources building a new future that you're going to love. Like the NBA player, when you can see that any version of your future you imagine is just a made-up story, you can decide which of those stories you want to live into. You can decide whether to get more and more instructions of what to do that reinforce the, quote, fact that you have a problem, or you can decide to try to start seeing through new eyes, to live into a future with more opportunities than you believed were even possible, to move forward to construct something new instead of moving backward to tear something down. Let's say you live in a 1,500 square foot house that you hate. The floor plan is no good. The master bathroom is a bummer. And summer evenings at home suck. That's all you know. Trying to fix those problems is really hard if that's all you can say about them. It feels confusing. You can spend hours learning about fixing your plumbing on YouTube or pinning dozens of gourmet s'mores recipes on Pinterest. Even if you buy all the tools and ingredients you saw online, It's still really hard to fix your problems if that's all you can see. It starts to get way easier when instead of focusing on what you don't like, you turn your attention toward what you do want. When you go on a 15-hour HGTV binge and can suddenly clearly see exactly how much open space you want in your floor plan, or what kind of outdoor kitchen you'd love to be the master of. When you can start to see your space with new eyes, so many possibilities that you didn't know existed emerge. It's way more freeing and fun. Running toward something instead of away from something. Constructing something new instead of trying to improve something you've outgrown or worn through. And as you're building something great instead of fixing something less than great, I love what Marie Kondo teaches about tidying up. That you keep the things that spark joy and the things that you don't, you kindly thank. I think it's so sweet. You tell your items that you're going to discard, thank you for being part of your life and providing value while you had them, but now it's time to release them and move forward. I love it. The real life-changing magic, not of tidying up, but of learning to look at your problem with new eyes, is to see how problems can present the opportunity to you to become who you really want to be. Maybe by being a problem solver. I recently learned how to correct a mishanging door that doesn't shut properly. We had 4 of them and have been fighting with them for like 19 and a half years. It took me about 10 minutes of internet research. The front door only took me about 10 minutes to fix. The other ones took a little bit longer, but now I feel like I have this secret problem-solving superpower. It's very liberating. Anyhow, sometimes that's the case. It's cut and dry. But oftentimes, knowing that a problem is happening for you, not to you, is different. You start to realize that big pharma, big agriculture, government policies, your nosy neighbor, your lazy coworker, whatever, are not causing your problems. They're showing you where you are self-limited, which can actually be the greatest blessing ever. It's definitely not easy to start seeing things that way, but to the extent that you can start to, you can shift from thinking you need to fix all of these nebulous exterior problems, essentially not being able to be happy unless you can seize total control of the entire world, to seeing the adversity and pain in our lives as opportunities to grow bigger, instead of just optimizing our limited self. If you focus all your resources on perfecting your circumstances, you've missed the whole point, because our circumstances are the byproduct of our internal mental game. If you focus your resources perfecting your inner mental game, your circumstances take care of themselves. Weird, but true, right? Many times our efforts to try to fix our problems are just us, as the limited people that we all are, trying to create something that will come as a byproduct of us changing our response to our problems. Becoming able to see that what stirs our pot is a gift. To be able to see where we're limited. Often not a very fun gift to unwrap, but one that can change our life much more than a blender or diamond earrings or our cousin finally shutting up or whatever we thought we wanted. Going back to our 1,500 square foot house that we hate, if you become wildly inspired to focus on constructing what you want instead of just fixing what you don't like, what if you get clear and you see that what you really want is a 20,000 square foot mansion with an indoor archery range and pet grooming studio? Awesome. Where do you start? New carpet or different cabinet hardware? That's not going to be enough, not by a long shot. Not even a framing and drywall crew can create what you want until what? You have to start with digging and pouring a completely new foundation. You can't build a 20,000 square foot house on a 1,500 square foot foundation. Just like you can't build a 100 floor skyscraper on a foundation that's as deep as a single story office building's foundation, or even a 50 floor office building. This is why you can't just focus on doing more behaviors or acquiring more favorable circumstances to fix your problems. If instead you emphasize redesigning your foundation, your subconscious, first, then you have the option to create something truly remarkable that will last. If you want to build something big, you need a deep and well-engineered foundation. If you have a deep and well-engineered foundation, you're free to create whatever your imagination can come up with. How does that feel? So, back to our hypothetical example that our problem is that we can't get ourselves to exercise. Maybe this is why the, quote, fixes that we've tried in the past haven't worked. We're trying to force ourselves to complete more good actions to fix our problem of not exercising, instead of architecting the future we really want to live and starting with digging a more robust foundation. We're seeing our problem as something happening to us that can be fixed by external circumstances, instead of seeing it as a learning opportunity that is happening for us to purposefully design the human being we really want to be. It's usually an inside job more often than an outside job. The realizations will be different for everyone once you scuba dive into your subconscious. I'd be happy to help you do that. Send me a message at healthcouragecollective@gmail.com. But the themes I often see have to do with calling exercise for one. I think it's useful for most women to stop exercising and separate things out in their mind into movement and training. Part of a longer discussion, we talked all about this in episodes 57, You're Probably Deficient, 83, Sedentary Exercises, and 186 and 187, Stop Exercising, parts 1 and 2. I'll put links to those in the show notes. Training for a specific purpose is very different than just exercising because that's what good girls should do. And moving because you know that every cell in your body is designed to thrive when we move in space frequently throughout the day is different than exercise. Similarly, many women learned to feel like exercise is a punishment, either because it's unpleasant and they don't enjoy the physical feeling of it, or because they feel like it's a penance that they should have to do for being, quote, bad and eating carbs or something. Or they feel like it's a weight loss tool, which it's not, or not a very good one anyway, and they resent feeling like they have to suffer in order to look a certain way. There can be a lot of reasons, but I hope you can see that trying to, quote, fix the problem with more actions and life hacks and equipment can be problematic, because it's usually not something outside of you that needs fixing. It's not even a problem to be fixed, really. It's an opportunity to see with new eyes, to discover where you're not free and break out of that self-imposed prison and create something brand new and freaking exciting. You deserve that, and maybe more importantly, the world needs your unique flavor of awesome. So don't hold it hostage or keep it silent. When you dig a new subconscious foundation, your past struggles don't have to have anything to do with your future, other than having acted as a catalyst for the growth you needed to expand your possibilities. I promise there's a way for you to learn to love doing the things that will help you sail through perimenopause and menopause and make it so you don't have to stop living before you die. But it's more of an inside job than it is just tips for fixing your problems. I hope this helped you think of problem fixing in a more useful way. If you're interested in focusing on building a new future and learning to love doing the things that will make you strong for years to come, instead of trying to just fix your old problems, send me a message at healthcouragecollective@gmail.com or go to my website, healthcouragecollective.com, and get on the waitlist for my new beta program to finally get consistent doing the things that will keep you healthy for decades to come. It's going to be a good time. Next week, we're going to talk about your 6th vital sign. Until then, stop trying to fix your old problems and don't be normal. Thank you so much for tuning into the Health Courage Collective podcast. I am truly honored that you have paid me the enormous compliment of your time and attention. I would be so grateful if you would share this podcast with someone you know and subscribe so you never miss an episode. This podcast is for entertainment and information purposes only. Statements and views on this podcast are not medical advice. This podcast, including Christina Hackett and producers, disclaim responsibility for any possible adverse events by use of information contained herein. If you think you have a medical problem, consult a licensed physician.